Hey everyone, welcome to Clash from the Past. I gotta head off to Bowling League in a little bit, but I wanted to make a video about some games I played today in 2v2 mode, Clash Royale. Today I used a deck I don't use very often. I call it deck number 5. I have 5 decks that I use. This one might be the one I use the least, but I enjoy it because it's different. If you've been following my games, you'll notice it has a handful of cards that you don't find in all my other decks. One, of course, is the Fireball, which we're going to handle in a different video because that's a conversation in and of itself. But the two I want to talk about today are the Valkyrie and the mini Pekka. These are 2 cards that I've admired in other people's decks, and so I decided to put them both in the same deck and build something around them with cards I liked and see how it went. I find moderate success with this deck, but I find it really fun to play and also very interesting to try and adapt this deck to other people's situations. Well, let's take a look. I think what I like about the Valkyrie and the mini Pekka so much is they are great stoppers, especially if you have both of them. I view them when the game starts as defensive cards that can become offensive cards. But when I see this big Pekka coming down, the first thing I do is drop the Valkyrie behind. That's just going to stop it and get in its way. Obviously it's going to get eaten up, but that's worth it. And then the Prince comes down and we're in good shape. We fight off this attack. And so guess what? Now it's time for the Pekka to come in. Right in front of the Electro Whiz and the Cannon card, and it gets there and it rakes. Because they overplayed their hand. I stopped them with the Valkyrie. Boom! Back with the mini Pekka. It runs in and goes, hello? Who's there? Mini Pekka. Kabungi, kabungi. And this one keeps on. We got a tower. They're already in trouble. I don't quite know how they're going to recover. But once again, we're sitting here waiting to see what they send our way. And I got the Musketeer. That's the card I love. And then I put the Valkyrie in front of the Musketeer. The cool thing about that, really, is when you are using a Valkyrie defensively, it can stop and rake. But it's also a great card to throw in front. Keeps all the goblin gangs, the skeletons, or really anything from being dropped in front of you. And it's also a really strong card that's hard to defeat, so you have to deal with it. It's a great lead blocker, that Valkyrie. So this is a great game that's a combination of the Valkyrie in a defensive posture and the mini Pekka being both defensive and offensive. What's great about the mini Pekka is it's fast and it hits like a truck. It does take time between hits, so it can be stopped by smaller cards pretty easily. However, if the game plays itself out and you're able to tuck that mini Pekka in your back pocket, it can be an awesome threat and a great finishing tool. These 2 examples you're going to see right here are really well timed. In this one right here, the game plays through and we're pretty much at a standstill. And what happens at the end here, the Golem's doing a great job there of occupying the troops. And the Golem's going to have to be defended. So they might overload on the left, or our left, which means that if that happens, there's going to be room on the right to throw in that mini Pekka right there. Now you notice they put bats down, but bats ain't going to stop it because boom, it gets to the tower and that ends. The things that could stop the mini Pekka are trying to stop the Golem. So then it's time to throw that mini Pekka in to get to the tower. Game's over. This one might be my favorite because this is great teamwork between me and my partner. About in the middle of this game, right here, we are pretty well evenly matched. We're both picking off each other's towers. They make a little bit of a mistake by throwing that Fireball, which allows for an opening. Now if you pause right here, I know my partner has a Hog Rider and I'm pretty sure it's going in on the right. So I decide, rather than bunch it up with the Hog Rider, I'm going to simultaneously put my mini Pekka on the left. And watch what happens. Here comes the Hog Rider, there's the mini Pekka at the same time. The Goblin gang's on the right. Hog Rider gets to the tower, and look, there's nothing. There's nothing to stop that mini Pekka. Boom, boom, boom. We end up winning this game. So that's my video on the mini Pekka and the Valkyrie. Why I think they're great cards, why I use them together. Maybe you have different examples or different ideas of how they serve you and what you're trying to do in the game, and I want to hear about it. So put it down in the comments and We can get a discussion going. I'm going to be talking about the fireball later on. We need to talk about the fireball. That's another old school card that I carried for a long time. I phased it out, but I still love it. Well, anyways, we'll get to chatting about all that later. I gotta go bowling. Woo! So a Scooby-Doo toilet to you and yours. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.